HRC. Okay. Ready? We'll call the meeting to order at 5:56. The Historic Resource Commission is charged with promoting, enhancing, and preserving the character of the historic district, as well as landmarks, including the Courthouse Square Historic District. If we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could just pause for a moment of silence. The minutes and review and approval from the last minutes of February 6, 2024. Commissioners, have everybody had an opportunity to look over those minutes? And if you need a few minutes, that will be fine.
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes as printed. They're fine.
There's been a motion to move that we accept the minutes as presented. May I please get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes will be approved and accepted as submitted. We now have new business to discuss the plaques and upcoming events. Mr. Evan, would you like to give us your review on the plaques and upcoming events?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So the first thing I did want to bring up, I know that we had discussion, Chair, about the budget coming up. So I wanted to give kind of you guys an update going into, obviously July. This is the last month of this fiscal year. July 1 will start the new fiscal year. For the new fiscal year starting in July, you guys do have a $1,500 line item budget, from my understanding, that was included by Megan Gardner, the city manager. So, and Mr. Parsons, of course, can give any updates. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So that is my fault. Yeah, in the budget. So you guys are included for that $1,500 line item, as well as the facade grants, just as last year with the $15,000 for you guys to match private businesses doing upgrades to their buildings.
Are there any questions about what's being said? Any comments, anything added? Karen, you and I have some knowledge of the cost. And with the $1,500, we could roughly get 3 to 4 more plaques.
Well, if you remember, the Rhines provided $5,000 and we petitioned city council and they doubled that. They matched it.
Mhm.
So out of that 10,000, we were able to get 8 plaques done. We had a list of 10.
Yes.
And I think pretty much to the penny that was done. With regard to plaques, just because I was curious as to plaques, where they are, what was previously on the wall, what we put up last October, the ones that we put up now, I went through and did one of these for everybody. So, Evan here. I think I have enough for everybody. If not, give away mine. Yeah. I just put background and previously existing plaques. I've listed the buildings. And then the 2 that we dedicated in fall, must have been October of last year. And then the rest of the ones that were just recently done. Thank you, Evan, for doing that. That worked out great. And then the last little list down there are some of the other buildings that they certainly are not inclusive, but it's just kind of a mind jogger. So if we did more plaques from here on out, as a newbie to the area, it really preference needs to go based on those folks who've been around here long enough to realize that a building has been A, B, and C, and now it's D. So I don't know if you want to put plaques on everything in the world or just a few, or maybe even, should we consider maybe doing 2 more a year and leaving, what's in the budget for facade or whatever else was there.
And that's why.
That's just my thoughts, but
Mhm.
I just put this together because it was like, I couldn't remember what we did, and
Yeah.
in going through some of my notes, I thought I'll just list what
Yeah.
we've got. So
It's very
if it's
helpful.
incorrect, please let me know. I think I've got it all, but
Mhm.
I may have missed.
The
missed
reason why I
something.
had mentioned 3 to 4, because I think if we could spend some of the money also, I'm noticing, and I don't know if this is going to be a town issue, Evan,
Mhm.
or something that we could take part of, but the sidewalks are also molding really badly in various different areas downtown. And I wanted to see if it wasn't the city that could take care of it, maybe some of this money could go towards that and not take the entire amount to spend on plaques, but do finish our list of 10, which we've done 7 so far, so we'd only have 3 left to do on that initial list of 10. And then maybe see if the city is not interested in, or it's not part of their budget,
Mhm.
or to do that maintenance on those sidewalks, then maybe we could take on that, get someone to come in and give us estimate to see how we could clean some of that up. There's a lot of cobwebs also in various different corners and of the buildings. And like I said, again, we check to see whose responsibility it is, but there's a lot of cleaning up that could actually be done downtown. Okay, so I think one of the local business owners has cleaned in front of the building where they wanted to paint the law offices,
The Ector Law Firm.
Ector
Mhm.
Law
Exactly,
Firm.
law.
And
Yeah.
so right in that area, it's really darkened a lot with mildew mode. I don't know what it is, but and going. No, it's yeah, it's black and it's so, but I can tell where an area of that has been cleaned
Mhm.
and it looks really good compared to the way that it looked prior to. So various little things. I know that we make it do some, improvement cosmetic wise.
Mhm.
Anyone else have any suggestions or any concerns about the handout that Ms. Chin has passed out tonight? Okay. Then if we could maybe make a motion to adopt that we would go out and seek who would be responsible for cleaning the sidewalks, even if they may or may not have enough time. They may approve us to maybe get a contractor out and contract someone to do that. And that if we would also go back and revisit the list to make sure we have the 10 completed. If we can adopt those 2 projects for now with the $1,500 that's been allotted for our disbursement.
Yeah, I can definitely look into it. The downtown sidewalks, I'll have to check with Public Works and Burke as well, because obviously Main Street and Elm, I believe, are both NCDOT roads. So I'm sure there's some kind of third-party maintenance agreement that we have.
Yeah.
And so as far as sidewalk cleaning in downtown, I do think that's a very interesting idea, because I have noticed myself how clean Ector's sidewalk looked from all that washing off and just kind of running over the sidewalk. I think they did some power washing out there too. So it may be something we even give money to some of the businesses themselves to try and do.
Absolutely.
Match maybe them putting up some money to clean their storefronts. And I don't know if that is too much like the facade grant, so it can definitely be explored for sure. And I can ask and see what maybe other people that would have something to do with it would think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great.
Thank you.
And Ms.
Joey, no.
probably want to do versus the historical board commission, because y'all have plaques and other historical things that you need to be focused on.
Rather than
Let
maintenance.
the appearance commission, if they see so.
I think the money for the appearance commission has been spoken for. So as far as I understand, I think we have a plan in place, so they won't necessarily have any funds for that. Yeah, I mean, that's a good suggestion, but I just know that right now we're working on a plan that will definitely absorb most of that money that we have. It's $1,500 as well, so we don't have that kind of room right now. If we adopt what the proposal will come forth when we meet next time.
Yeah, for sure.
If you check with Mr. Robinson, just to see where it falls, then while we are waiting for that answer, if any other persons have any other suggestions as far as what we can do with the 1,500, and if there are not any other suggestions, and if we are not responsible for it, then maybe we could now move to Karen from the three from the list that we did not complete initially. And I think the problem with that was that we're working on proper descriptions. So we're still waiting from an historian that the mayor had had us in contact with. Okay,
Oh,
wow. Oh, sorry to hear that. But she's also involved in the, in working up descriptions. So, and we do want them to be accurate because that will be a permanent fixture. So, Mr.
Made it follow on.
No,
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
So, and we can just have a closed meeting and invite someone in and go over the descriptions of the ones that we were looking to continue with. So we have some options on the table, but if everybody's in agreement to see about the sidewalks, getting those cleaned up. I'm getting stopped a lot moving on. If there's no questions, I'm sorry. Were there any questions or concerns?
I think it might be
Hit
best
the-
to wait.
hit the button on your mic. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you.
Maybe we find out if it's going to be a public works, if they will take care of it before we
Right.
actually vote on us doing it.
Yeah. That was my suggestion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, is there, just coming from a small business point of view, I would rather see that $1,500 go towards some of the businesses that are inhabiting these buildings than a plaque. I mean, that's just my 2 cents, whether it's you find one business, and or them $1,500, or you find 3 and award them $500 to go towards. I mean, we could put some stipulations on it, but, right now when a lot of small businesses are struggling, and, it just looks like maybe we could give them a helping hand that way. It's just my opinion.
Mike,
We-
that speaks to what I had mentioned, that we've got a good amount of plaques up. And do we want to have plaques on every single building, and might there be a better place? Or still reserve some to go, oh, we forgot about, like, well, the historical museum, yes, I'm
Yeah.
on the committee, but
I think we're
buildings
running
like
out
that,
of,
yeah.
like, we can't just like,
On
the
everything,
the
yeah.
first person opened up a bottle of Pepsi on this corner of this building. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
at some point, we're gonna run out of stuff to put on the plaques.
And
And it's
Well,
just like a
there
waste
are
of money.
descriptions already available to us. But Jennifer, the mayor, has also, she has a library of information. So we don't necessarily have to come up with it, but she wants to make sure it goes through her so she can check it and reaffirm what's being
sure.
put on it. So everything has gone through the council prior to us having anything printed. But I'm glad to hear that everyone is kind of like agreeing that, yes, let's not spend all of our money on plaques.
Yeah.
But I think it would be appropriate because we did reach out to the 10 building owners and say that we were going to be doing this. So having said that, we would only have 3 more that we would need to complete and that will be completed because that's already been approved by this board. And the money was already said, then once we get more money, that we would complete that project. After those three, I think it's very fair, Mr. Young, to say that we need to focus on other things with our money throughout the year of 2024, 2025.
Mhm.
So I think that is
Yeah.
very appropriate.
Mhm.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
When we were talking about the plaques beginning, we might need to check, and I'm going off the board, but, there might be a motion where we actually worded it that we would do the 10 plaques initially, and then and look at the next 10 when we got additional funds. I think we
Right,
we
that was
voted
the
on
plan.
20,
Yeah.
and passed a motion to get 20.
yeah.
So the board has done that. So we've said that publicly that we're committed to getting the 20.
Yeah.
So that I know, like, I think Public Works can probably handle the sidewalks and stuff over there, but I don't know, but I do know, I'm pretty confident that we said that we committed to doing 20
Mhm.
when we first started doing this and made a motion and a vote on it.
Karen, your notes may reflect, I don't have my notebook tonight, but
But that's
we,
right.
we
did do that,
we suggested that we do 20. And then after we start pricing them, and I think you were part of
Yeah.
recommending the companies, and after we start pricing them, we had to very hurriedly and say we would have to back off 20 because we did not have anywhere close to the funds and had not having already the 5,000 gifted to us and the council matching the other 5, we wouldn't have been able to complete the project. So we knew early on that we would not be able to complete 20. So 20 was a suggested amount, but I think we ended up voting on the 10,
Mhm.
and we can definitely pull those records and just make
Uh,
clarification.
I'm
That's
just
a-
saying to look at it
No,
before.
you're
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
We're going to check everything, but if we have any money to contribute towards the small businesses, and I don't think we can contribute the money to the small businesses, but I think we can maybe work on a project that will enhance their areas.
Yeah, that's definitely, just in the point that you guys were making, it's definitely something I can go back on meetings last year. I mean, I haven't been around all that long, so I don't remember exactly if I was at the meeting when you might have passed these things, but I feel like the plaque project was going on when I arrived.
It was
So
already in
yeah,
session.
so I
yeah.
can talk to Cameron or maybe even Aaron and Megan and see what the initial plan was and go back and maybe look at the meeting notes as well, as it's kind of a record of what we've got and what you guys may or may not have committed to, because we want to make sure we do that, like Mr. Haley was saying.
Absolutely.
And as far as the thing Mr. Young was talking about, for maybe just giving businesses money, there has been, I don't even want to call it an idea, but there could be a possibility in the future, maybe going into the fiscal year after this one, since it's a little tight now, but maybe a possibility of adjusting our grant that you guys give out instead of limiting it to outward facing facades, maybe make sure the interiors or some of these buildings are being kept up, the structural integrity is being kept up, and maybe given renovation grants,
Mhm.
just maybe adjusting it to fit the needs more, because eventually everybody in downtown is going to have gotten a facade grant, and how much more can you really do after you've gotten your facade grant? You have to keep it up for 5 years and so on and so forth.
So the last thing I'll say about the 1,500 is, if you look at the mission of our board, it's about promoting and enhancing the downtown, the historic, division, the historic, section of Graham. And while I'm part of own a small business in town, would love to have money sent our way, but, I don't know if our board should really be just giving money straight to the business
Mhm.
without it enhancing the building or the historic features of downtown, just a part of the mission.
Right.
When you read it from the Historic Resource Commission.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd have to be something
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that you guys have to take a look at, but like I said, just maybe if that is something you as a board want to explore, maybe that would be on the side of adjusting our grant system. So just something to think about. And also tonight, we don't have to spend the whole 1,500, but I mean, just you guys getting your ideas out there and talking about it is great too. So yeah, definitely take any notes you want or look into any ideas you think would be great. And you can always bring them to me and I can put them on the agenda and we can bring them in front of the board and let you guys talk it out. But I don't want you guys to feel like we have to spend 1,500 tonight because, you know,
No, just
it's
don't
not
think
even-
That's fair.
as Mr. Parsons
And-
reminded, it's not
and
even a.
fully approved,
Yeah, you don't have $1,500 yet.
And Mr. Workman, would you also say, like, if you said we would do a grant adjustment, would that have to go through the council in order to get that done? Because I don't think we are capable of making that type of
Yeah,
change.
for sure. And that's something we'd look at, like I said, coming into the 2025, 2026 fiscal year. So even further down the road, because facade grants are kind of solid for this year and with our timing, that $15,000 that's going to be potentially given to you guys is for that program as it's set up currently. So it could be something, you know, conversations could be had and I'll figure out what all may need to happen. And of course, Mr. Parsons, if you have.
You know, to piggyback on what Evan said, once all the facades have been fixed, maybe the follow-on would be, the next round of facade grants would be the opportunity to either use it for the facade or perhaps something inside, and
Mhm.
we might put conditions on it for, I don't know, an upgrade or a structural or even decor. So they would have the ability to not think, oh, we've been given money and we really don't need to repaint it. We just painted it 24
Mhm.
hours ago kind of thing, where they
Yeah.
could use the funds to enhance their property.
Mhm.
Even though even though that enhancement might not be visible to the man on the street walking down the sidewalk. That's true. They may want to, yeah,
Renovation.
that's true.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Good point, Joey. Yeah. Turnover, yeah.
And stuff wears out, gets old,
Mhm.
you know, signage changes.
Mhm.
There's gonna be things.
Yep.
But not saying that's not a great idea to do expand it to where they would have a few more options.
Options to use.
Mhm.
But it's not like 10 buildings are gonna be done and we'll never touch them.
Oh, no,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, take for instance, when we were at, Wits, they had inside the building, the, Coca-Cola
Mural.
sign, yeah, the
Yeah,
mural had been discovered when they were redoing the building. Well, you might have somebody that's occupying one of those buildings that couldn't afford to have that brought out.
Brought out.
That would be like, it's just going to stay the way it is, but
Right.
Mhm.
you know, maybe something to help them do that would, you know, preserve that. And by doing that, I'm assuming that when we do something, they wouldn't be able to paint over it or anything after, once we were involved and they were, if that's,
Mhm.
That's what I was gonna mention. Yeah, the way it's written now, they can make changes inside of
On
the
the inside,
facade, but
yeah.
not on the exterior.
I don't want to put any more regulations on somebody.
No.
Thinking like if they found something like that and they wanted to, you know, bring that back out and where everybody can
They
see
could
it.
use, yeah.
Because that's not, you know, revealing that and getting it looking good is not cheap.
Mhm.
That's right. Mhm. Yeah.
That's really like how facade grant, and really the outreach of the historic commission is just the external.
Mhm.
That's right.
You have to say so on what they.
Interior, right.
Yeah, nor would I want to. Just,
Yeah.
But the idea to be able to extend or to adjust the grant where we could contribute some money for, say, if it turns over and a new business comes in and they need money to help with a fixture or painting or the ceiling or something like that, then we could say, well, we do have X amount of dollars allocated just for that. So I think that's a good idea as well.
Definitely something we can look into going forward. Just, yeah.
A good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Because there would probably be a line where we're impeding on private activity, and it's not something
Yeah.
we definitely don't wanna do.
And we're just being creative, and I love the energy. So, hey, everybody's waking up and we're getting involved, and that's what we want. We want to, so we can learn our do's and don'ts and what we can and cannot do. So there's nothing wrong with, this conversation, having this conversation. And great support of that. It just means that we're all thinking, and that's always good. Anything else? Nothing else? Do we have an update from the council?
And just that, once the budget comes through, you'll have the $1,500 disposal. You will need to put together a quote or a plan. And it will need to be put on the agenda for the next, and then you will have to, for the next council meeting, you'll have to come present. And ask for your request to have that money first.
Right. So once it's put on, so you're saying after June 30th? So July 1st, it'll be effective. So maybe we can get put on the calendar for July, the third Tuesday.
Have
Well, I think we do have, initially, we have the 3 plaques,
Mhm.
just starting out. We do have 3 plaques to complete our 10 and possibly more if we find in our minutes that we did agree to 20, but I know we never did because the money stopped us quickly.
Stop.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, and Karen was, and I was out there constantly with this thing,
Mhm.
so I'm pretty clear about
Money
it.
stopped us and
Yeah, we stopped in our tracks because we were like, oh, because we decided to go with the better material, the real material. So it's costly.
quote, a written quote from the vendor that you got the other ones from.
We already have that. I mean, but materials could have changed and prices could change.
Mhm.
current, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. Karen.
Mhm.
Or notes.
Mhm.
I would suggest you get a current quote. And then come to council for that.
Okay.
And just to, not to cut you off, but just to add on to that, if I look into it as well and kind of get clarification on what exactly we have left, like you're saying, 3 plaques, and we'll, I can add you guys to the agenda as
Oh,
well.
really? Okay.
Yeah, just because, I mean, Renee sends out, or Ms. Ward sends out what to submit your items by the end of the month. So it could be something later this month for the July meeting that I could get on. So we'll figure that out as we're going along and as we look and get into how many plaques we actually are committed to.
Perfect.
Shoot it about 8 times.
Mhm.
Which
Okay.
will come out for today for next council meeting.
Well, I think we can get a quote by the middle of next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they already have, okay, and then too, we can consider that some of the monies that we had to spend initially getting the mold created, we won't have to do
Cash,
that
yeah.
because we had to recreate the city seal.
Template.
So, yeah, so that took up some of the monies that we will possibly and be saving on this time around. So I don't think we should be as much as we got a quote for the last 3, but we'll definitely get a current quote. No problem with that. Yeah, so
Cut out any gray area, you come to council, this is what it's gonna cost us, this is what we need.
Right, that
absolutely.
sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah.
For us to do our job, because we know there's no gray area.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Parson. Okay, any updates from the city staff?
I really don't have a ton. My main update was talking about the $1,500 and y'all did a nice job. Got some ideas for sure and some things to look into, and that's a great first step. I do want to thank Mr. Haley for serving. It is his last, I think it is his last meeting, so thank you for being on the board, and hopefully we'll find our other 2 members through applications here before too long and get us back to full. But we appreciate you serving on the board, Mr. Haley.
Yes, absolutely. And
I am. I did notify the
yes, she did.
city clerk that I would serve again on this commission and on the museum condition. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for checking.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I did the math and they'll put me at 83 when I'm done, so.
4 years.
And you're gonna have to.
Well, I like to
find some-
piggyback off thanking Mr. Haley as well for his services. We have greatly appreciated your knowledge, your ability to redirect And you've just been a great asset to this board. And
Thank you.
thank you very much for your time on the board and for your wealth of knowledge.
Yep.
And we congratulate you again on your doctorate degree, and I know you're looking forward to bright horizons. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Anything else? There nothing else? I would ask for a motion to have this meeting adjourned.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
There's been a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you guys for coming out.